you hear the captain sing, crying out across the stars? It is the anthem of the players, crushed beneath the endless stars.
When the packs are 99 and the servers barely run, then the game becomes a prison and the players say,
we're done.
Will you join the cause today? Raise your banners through the void. Stand together as a people. Make the galaxy annoyed. When the credits fuel the chains and the joy is sold away, we will fight for what was promised and we'll take the game we play. Will you buy or will you fight for a fleet that's truly free? Will you pay $100 just to grind the same debris? Same debris. Same debris.
From the Borg to
Alrighty. How y'all doing? Happy Sunday, everybody. It's that time. It's STFC time. All right, we got the volume down. Okay, the volume should be good for everybody. Should be good, right? Y'all let me know if it's not. And we're going to dive into some Sunday Fun Day, which Fun Day for me is, well, we're going over the Incursion stuff because, well, we just had it. It is still ongoing for our friends over in APAC. But for everybody else, STFC.pro can give you all the scores, highlights. Well, I wish we actually would be great if we had a highlights section. That'd be really, really cool. But we don't have that yet. That'd be kind of neat if we were able to actually show like big raids that were happening and stuff. But if you didn't know, if you go to STFC.pro and you hit the Incursions tab at the very top, you can then see how everybody is doing. So you can see, for example, I'm looking at the US servers here, and we'll scroll on down to 703 versus 710. My server for 710, we managed to come through victorious. Big shout out to all of our groups and guns, and you can see all the, Humble led the way, but you come on down, you'll see more of us doing work, including one of our guys, Amp, who is in Horde. So good to see, these big numbers getting put up is what I'm saying. See, there's not a lot in that level range. But anyway, really neat stuff that you can do with this. And shout out to STFC.pro for keeping all of us. If you want to track who's doing the raiding, who's doing the most combat damage, well, we can figure it out, right? Especially if we come down to, say, level 63s and just see who was leading the way right there. So just some neat stuff if y'all want to check it out. Just a reminder, we've got a bunch of like really cool tools that a lot of us end up using because, well, there's not a lot of cool stuff in the game sometimes for tracking purposes. So anyway, if you're ever looking for things like that, there you go. STFC.pro is a good one, as well as several others. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Hope you are doing fan-freaking-tastic. And if you're in APAC and you're doing Incursions, I'd love to hear how yours is going. And if you're one of our Europeans or our American server people, let me know how yours went. So my main servers, I had server 20 lost, server 56, shout out to 56 for getting the W, and then server 710 beat server 703, shout out to 703 being good sports and lots of fun there. Yeah, also curious to see how everybody else did, and good to see everybody. Responsibility, Walter, Eddie, GT Carrot, Equatorial, Brain Dig, Wesley Clark, D-Woo, Gemini, Scud Missile, Doug, Ethan Bender, Ballybomb, K Galt, Dark Ginniger, see you, Kyle. Let's see everybody else. Y'all shout about it, and feel free to shout out your server, by the way, especially if y'all picked up a win in Incursions. Feel free to shout out your server. Give y'all a little bit of love, a little bragging rights, right? Nothing wrong with bragging about folks who managed to come through with some victories. I actually really get impressed some of the things that y'all are able to pull off sometimes. So we see some big swings in Incursions over the years. I definitely could be a lot of fun. All right, 38 beat server 9 by a hair. Great job, Doug. Awesome. Can you please explain why Cal has, and then you didn't finish it? You didn't finish it. Cal has what? Moos? The cow moos because that's just the auditory sound it makes when it's happy or sad. Other than that, I don't know. You didn't finish your sentence. GT says that theirs went down to the wire with the lead jumping back and forth every 10 minutes. 10 verse 13 was pretty exciting. See, it's one of those things like if you could guarantee that experience for everybody, you might have even more participation in Incursions than you do. Like if I could guarantee it was down to the wire in all of my incursions on like the main server, I would actually do it more. And I've said it loudly past week, and I'm not trying to say it in like a incursions is a bad way. I just don't really do incursions anymore because it's not changed a lot through the years. So I've done it so many times I got tired of it. But if I knew that it was, going to be back and forth and it's going to be hardcore to the end, that definitely would incentivize me to want to jump in and participate. Right? That would actually be, that would be a good way to get me back into incursions if we knew ahead of time. But just the way the scoring mechanic is right now, and wow, this is a nice little OPC hit we're about to grab. Just the way the scoring mechanic is currently with incursions, there's no way to guarantee that, right? It very much could just be Scud Missile decides, hey, I'm going to give away 3 quadrillion resources this time, and it's very possible most servers aren't overcoming a singular base that gives up that much. Certainly can happen and has happened, but what I'm saying is, to have that desire to not want to miss it incursions, the 2 main factors. Number 1, rewards, and number 2, excitement. Just for me personally, I've lost the excitement aspect. I would love to get it back, though. Dark Gettiger says Rev gives me gastrointestinal distress. Happy to hear it. Enjoy your heartburn. Server 108 won against 155, but 155 chased very hard in the last few hours. I have learned this as well, Kyle, about different servers. Tends to be on incursion servers, there's 2 types of servers. There are servers, now there could be more than 2, but just for me making this into a thing. Daytime servers, nighttime servers. As in, where is your group the most populous and where do they do the most of their raiding? And for example, server 20, which is obviously this server right here that I stream from quite a bit, has an amazing day group, but their nighttime group is not muy bueno. No, we actually give up a lot every night, it seems. Shielding just not a thing. People go to bed, server 20 gives it up. But there are some servers out there who are very, very good inside of that time frame at the middle of the night where you think most people would either be asleep or shielded, where they'll get a lot of their work done. So I've noticed that a lot, that there are some servers, especially servers that have a big win record, as in they win more than they lose in incursions. That's something that is quite common, is, maybe sometimes in, whole groups inside of alliances, whatever, are getting a lot of great work done at the nighttime, where the rest of us are trying to sleep. They're trying to work. So respect. Server 74 has won a few in a row. Congrats, Edward. What are y'all up to? Would love to hear more. Sean says join button. So join buttons as in Crucible of War join buttons? Or are you talking about, which, as a reminder, if y'all have not, make sure you go to your store and you do your Cal turn-ins when they're available. Is because they're so important to get those Armada directives. It isn't as important as you level up, obviously. It'd be great if they add into, Cal, the new Borg Armada directives that are going to be here next month. But, well, heck, this month. Today's the 1st of March. Wow. But anyway, yeah, it'd be nice if that expanded. But it's still, I think, important enough that people should be trying to make those pulls, even if all you use those for is to help out your alliance, right? If all you're using for is to help out your low levels, that's completely fine. I just think that it's still worth pulling. Well, if you just need a little bit. Remember, they just updated Cal, so it should be better than, a year ago. If some of you have stopped doing it, I would definitely encourage jumping back in. 711 beat 701. Love to hear it, Wolfen. I know a lot of people have been, talking about, it's not fair for things like 710 and 711 to go against 701, 703. And I personally disagreed. And I'll always respect, someone having that opinion. I understand the logic, but I actually think that it was teams like 710 and 711 that actually had the advantage going in. And very proud how both could perform. So, very proud. Oh, there's Humble. Good to see you, Humble. Welcome in. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Tuesday, you meant Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday we have whole new patch, which I will admit, I was surprised. I was wrong on that. I have to be very out in the open. Like, hey, Rev was wrong. Because usually 5 Tuesdays is pretty consistently resulted in 2-week break. Not this time around. So if you're not prepared, patch is a coming. So if you're not prepared, get ready. As I'm OPC hunting right now because I need more juice for my refineries. Have you done an advert for the Raid game? Like Raid Shadow Legends? I did a sponsored stream with Raid Shadow Legends like 5 years ago. Many years ago. Maybe it wasn't 5, but it's been years. Why do you ask, Hagal? No. Why do you ask? Welcome in, by the way. Good to see you. Your comment's not registering? What did you try to say, Aditya? I see you now, but what else did you try to say? Did you try to like break YouTube rules? Let's not do that, okay? Let's be well behaved in YouTube. That's what I prefer. Yeah, let's be well behaved. Actually, might need to go and drop this off. I've got a little bit of OPC almost sticking out. Yeah. Anyway, back to what we were talking about with incursions. Let's see if I can find my incursions tab again for STFC.pro. One thing I do like, and again, shout out to 110 and shout out to our groups who are working really hard there. Whoops, wrong button. STFC.pro. Cool to see the jumps, right? From when you can see a server that was having success and then maybe lost a little bit and they had to come back. You know, so here starter, I can say server 9 is a mix of good and met. In the last couple of incursions, we've only won one. Shorter players who participate don't shield when they get off. And y'all had a very close one, right? And actually, just to share, because we are talking incursions right now, I do need to check this before this guy gets blown up by a chaser. Hold on, let me check this OPC real quick. I want to rotate. Yeah, see, look, exactly. This one we got. Look at that. Who needs to mine when these people are doing it for me? I love it. It's so kind of them too. Like, shout out to High Tone. Without High Tone, how would I get my refunds done? Because I don't want to have nothing but, you know, miners in my docks. I want there to be some warships. Right now, there's some warships, and my my ship is frozen because of course it is. Fantastic. Those don't participate, so we have to do extra work. And look, that's normal though, right? There are people who just aren't going to do it. Oh, now you finally unlock. There we go. You know, that's participation. I think if you're looking for what's a good participation for your server in incursions, I would say you're probably looking at anywhere from 40 to 50% is pretty good. You know, by comparison to what we usually see with a lot of servers. You know, I mean, we'll see it as low as, you know, in the 20s. So here's put this on the screen. So here is server 9 versus 38. Again, shout out to server 38 who came through with the victory here. You can see they had 2.6% more of their population participate. They had 670 players who were actively participating versus 662. And then you can see there was a lot of back and forth, right? Where they were losing in the first couple of hours, right? Then it flipped just a bit, and then they lost it again. Server 9 was maintaining it. And then you see it flipped again here about 8 hours into incursions, and then they took it back, and then it flipped again, going, you know, about 10 hours deep. It flipped again. I mean, so there's a lot of back and forth here. And then eventually you can see, you know, a big base opens up where you get 8.4 and then it jumps up to, you know, 10. So there's a 2 quadrillion raid that happened in this little 1 hour segment right here. You see about, you know, 2 quadrillion got out, and then they just never quite caught up to that. It's like there's another big one happening there right at the very end. So it is really cool. And it'd be awesome if we could continue to expand on things like this. And as we're drawing this information, add in, you know, what big base got raided, not for shaming, just more like highlighting, hey, you know, just use these alliances. Apex managed to raid Waco. I'm just throwing out alliances, so I'm not calling anybody individually out. Yeah. There you go. Just neat stuff. And you can do this with any server in Incursions. So we can come down here to 710 and 703 we were talking about. You'll see the jumps here where 710 ended up getting the win, but huge jump where we start off. And I actually remember for those that don't remember, the US Incursions actually started off with a problem, as in people couldn't move servers. It was right after an unexpected update. So I think I was actually the first person to go over to 703 from that server. And then, you know, Humble's here. He can tell you, we immediately just 9, 10, we just watched as trillions were being raided immediately. And then it took a while. And then server 710 managed to get a big raid here. You can see it jump from under 1 quadrillion, get all the way up to 2.9. It's about a 2 quadrillion raid, and managed to hold it throughout the entire time. This website is stfc.pro. For those who have never seen this before, if y'all want to check this out, it could be great for leaders and servers to kind of use as a tool. Again, here's 701 against 703, which was, wow, neck and neck for about 10 hours until finally just kind of broke loose, and then nailing the coffin type raid here in the middle of the night. That's a big one, another 2 quadrillion raid. So, yeah, I was very close for a long time, though. I mean, that was neck and neck. And then apparently just get into the nighttime, and the shield's no bueno no more. Well, this actually is an early morning raid, chat. This isn't even in the middle. So this is that night area I'm talking about where you'll see a lot of big ones, and there's definitely a raid right here. But this is in the early morning, like you're getting up and go to work, and you made your coffee, but like, man, did I remember to shield? And you did it. The answer is no, you did it. And while you're on your way doing your daily commute, you gave up 2 quadrillion, whoever you were. So anyway, that part of Incursions I actually really enjoy. That aspect I think is a lot of fun, going through and figuring out, well, what happened, why happened, what's the history of it. It's kind of like sports, where you're breaking down plays and everything. So I do enjoy that. I just wish that we could guarantee that closeness, because as some people in the chat are saying, a lot of times Incursions is never like that, where it's just you lost and you never have a shot. So you never have a shot. PvP has no place in the game based upon Gene Roddenberry's utopian vision of a post-scarcity future for the humanity of us. Thank you, Brandy, for contributing. We appreciate you being wrong. I respect you prefer not mining and instead hunt OPC ships. But when it comes to the refinery, which chest are you pulling? This depends. Which refinery are we talking about? Generally, I full pull everything. Every refinery I have, generally I full pull. And I'm more limited based on when's the last time I went hunting. So, like right now, I just had a 2 million hit. Right now I'm grabbing all this uncommon. The only one that's difficult to full pull for me is the rare one. The epic's always completely fine. The common, the uncommon, it's the rare one. So it does vary sometimes. But that's more of how often am I actually doing the pulls? How often am I doing the pulls? You see, I didn't get the rare yesterday because I haven't been doing it. But double chest pulling is quite common for me. Now, obviously, OPC hunting's effectiveness really depends on your server. If you've got everybody on your server who pays attention to their miners, their Serene Squalls, their Selkies, their Novas, even their G3 miners, it's a lot harder to get OPC, right? I happen to be on a server where I managed to catch them. And sometimes it's timing. Like, there are times that I can definitely see somebody's already come through here, right? It's very rare. See, look, another one, just another mill, just juicy, just waiting for me with a fantastic player name, by the way. Yeah, it's just grabbing those. So, be nice to have resources lost tracker to list the exact players who lost it. Yeah, and Vero, I was just talking about that. I would say that I do worry that could become a negative, because I don't believe in like just shaming players. So like, let's say that RN Kelly gave up 5 quadrillion points. I think it's good to know the 5 quadrillion got given up, but I don't want to turn into, oh, well, we now hate RN Kelly because they gave up 5 quadrillion. Look, sometimes things happen. Life is life. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't want a tool like that to turn into something that's shaming the players, but at the same time, I do understand how there's value in knowing what happened and why, like which alliance gave up all these, and it doesn't become a trend, and not to shame that alliance, but so you can at least know, okay, this is a problem area we have to worry about. So before Incursions, we're trying to raid those guys and gals to make sure that they don't have anything to give up during Incursions. It is a slippery slope to a degree. We have to worry about it becoming we're going to make fun of V-Real because V-Real gave up, 7 quadrillion points over the fiscal year. Something silly that I would call silly. It's a little balance you got to find. But I do agree with the basic premise and idea. More information is better, right? More information is better. I don't want to become we're going to shame Asif. And by the way, good to see you. Welcome in. Make sure you invite your alliance in. We're talking about several different things. We're talking about anything that y'all ever want, honestly. But today's a little bit more of a laid-back Sunday edition, going over Incursions and things like that. So Gary says there's more than enough we lost because of your alliance. Don't need individuals identified. And that's where I tend to fall, Gary, because good or bad, players in this game can get toxic about things like Incursions, and they shouldn't. Look, it's end of the day, the rewards aren't that good. It's not that important. It's not that big of a deal. So I'm not saying you shouldn't try to win. I'm just saying that it shouldn't turn into we're going to just really target an individual, because you can have PvP and it be a lot of fun and it not be toxic. So it's just finding that balance. Accountability is the thing. If I deserve shame, shame me. No, that's not the same thing. You know dang well, V-Real. Being toxic is not the same thing. Oh, 1.2 million? Oh, this is beautiful. We crushed our enemies this weekend. Also did well in incursions. Congratulations, I see. That's awesome. That's awesome. Something that shows what alliance gain and loss would be cool. Yeah, I mean, especially if there's like a balance. Like if you could see if your alliance was profitable, as it were, as in like you gained more points than you gave up. That'd be really cool to see. That'd be a metric I could get behind, as long as it wasn't individualized. But we could see, hey, you know, this alliance scores quite a bit, but they also give up a bit. That would be the story of COE right here. Generally, we give up a lot, but we also score a lot. You know. Oh, anyway, there's fun to be had, is what I'm saying. And are you looking forward to the Mavericks? Nope. I'm not. I'm not. New faction coming out Tuesday, for those that don't know. Y'all haven't looked. They decided, I was hoping that they were going to put the preview out on Friday. They decided to do it on Saturday, and I don't make YouTube videos on the weekends because I'm streaming. So, didn't have a video out on that yet, but am I looking forward to it? No, not really. There are some aspects to it that are good, but just overall, no. Gosh, my sinuses are running again. I apologize, y'all, if y'all keep hearing me like sniffling and stuff. We're having to clean up the backyard from the big storm. So I got all that nice pollen and sawdust in my nasal passages. Wonderful stuff. All right, chat. Let's get back on focus. Let's get back retargeted. Family over strep then? Yes, finally. Thankfully. Yeah, everybody seems to be healthier now. At least everything just seems kind of like, you know, allergy type stuff. Nobody's sick, which is very much appreciated because we went through the ringer last week. There's a new faction for 51 plus. It's actually for 55 and above. Yeah, so the new, almost all of the new stuff coming out is 55 and above. And as I've been telling y'all over the past few months, they will continue to raise that bar as they continue to fill in more levels of content. So just like they have with the 30s, 40s, G5 is slowly getting phased out throughout this year. And when I mean phased out, as in not all G5 levels will be part of new content, and that will eventually work its way all the way to where G6 starts being the jump off point for new content. Now, hopefully people who follow my channel are prepared for that. They've seen it coming. They know, because we do talk about it a lot. At least I try to bring it up quite a bit to make sure people are aware this is how it operates. But things are going to continually rise in general ops levels. There will be some things that do become available to all players, right? But generally, the new features are going to start becoming higher and higher level content, with 55 and above being this run. So Michael says, I think 95 might have had the largest margin of victory. Really? I have to go take a look. I'm curious. Let me go and see. You said 95. I mean, they had a pretty big one. 39.9 quadrillion to 3.7. Let me do a quick eyeball test and see if I can see anybody that is just as bad, because that is a pretty wide margin. Oh, that's a lot of scoring there, but not a wide margin. There's a one match that was 118 versus 145, was 37 to 32 quadrillion. That is a crazy amount of resources and points given up. This is a pretty big one. That's a 31 quadrillion gap, 46 to 15. So the one we're comparing to was up here with 172 versus 112. We're going to look at all of them. I'm curious. So we're looking at 95 here. So this is a 36, right at 36.2 quadrillion gap. I'm just trying to see if there's any other gaps that are equally as large, just because I'm curious. But there are some big point scores here. So that's 31, so not quite, but still very large. Yeah, some big ones here. Now we're going to switch over to Europe, because we're only looking at US right now. So look at Europe. So we got any massive overly weighted scores. There's 24, not quite. That's still really, that's a lot of points. That's 26, that's a lot. Still not as big, but that's a lot. You know, 95 might have this one. They might have it. Let's see. Oh, that's a big one. That's a real big one. So, and let's see what Apex at right now. Not much yet, but keep in mind, APAC is still ongoing. APAC is still ongoing. So yeah, 95, I think, has the biggest margin here with Server 51, which I used to play on, by the way. Server 51 just never really found it. I don't know if, yeah, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I can see why Server 51 maybe felt defeated and gave up in the very beginning. Literally, in the first couple of hours, they had given up 7 quadrillion points. Wow. You just look like they threw up their hands. Like, as soon as you start off with such a deficit, they're just like, heck it, we don't care. And just, I mean, 3.7 quadrillion points is not terrible, but yeah, wow. Wow, 7 quadrillion to start. Just imagine you start Incursions and you're already giving up a massive raid. Well, there you go. It looks so much like server 20 sometimes. Thankfully, server 20 put up a very good fight against 56, which I also played on at one point. But as you can see here, we were down from the get-go. Like, we put in a fight. Like, we kept going at it. You see, we eventually scored a pretty decent amount of points, right? We scored almost 13 quadrillion, which is good enough to win a lot of Incursions in other places, but we gave up 21. So even though this looks like it's like this huge gap, we were actually scoring big numbers. We were just giving up as big as we were scoring at the exact same time. And if you notice as well, like, look at these are high numbers, right? 21 quadrillion, 13. Look how steady it is. So basically these were just raids going on at the same time. Just all these big raids just continually running. Crazy. Yeah, crazy. Server 138 has been the punching bag. Again, like always, no wonder so many players have quit. Always the same servers as opponents over and over again. Well, we'll have considered winning. You know, might sound almost a little bit insensitive, but you know, I get if players get frustrated, but you got to find a way. Especially, I think one thing is you have over 2,000 accounts, 2,000 actives on 138, and the more players you have, the more difficult that can actually make things. Because that's just it. Again, when we're talking about a mechanic that only needs 1 or 2 people to slip up for it to sincerely ruin everybody else's experience. Like, I say sincerely because I'm not trying to be harsh, but yeah, it literally. So if you got over 2,000 people and it just takes 2 or 3, that means it's even harder for you to keep up with. I can see that, but you got to make it happen. You got to make it happen. There are also, if you hit server info, for those again who don't know this, you can actually see the Incursions records of various servers. At server 20, we are 12 and 22. And then we were just talking about a 138. So if we came down here to 138, we can see that they are 9 and 24. So definitely on the losing side of things. And they were just going against, I think, 156. Was he going to 156? And then the only undefeated server remaining is going to be server 201 right there. Now, when I say undefeated, I'm talking about ones who have actually been participating in terms of a long time. There is technically 203, which somehow has a 1 here, but I wanted to just bring it up for anybody just quick corrected rev. But yeah, you've server 201 has been dominating APAC since this began and has not changed. And it is also one of the largest servers in the game with almost 3,000 active accounts. So even though I just said it could be a much harder run to have more players on your server, server 201 is the exception to that rule, you know, where they manage to win every time and their ratio is insane. So, you know, other good ones like 709 is a newer one. It's a little bit older than mine, server 710. And look, it's 14 and 1. We've got 91, which is very successful, 33, 704, 125, 701, 16, 131, 145, 45. Just trying to get some shout outs to all these servers that, you know, anytime you have these type of setups where one goes against another, eventually you're going to have servers that are just not as good in Incursions compared to some of their others, their peers. And there you go. So there you go. Some are at the very top, and then you're going to find some of my friends down here at the bottom, right? So there's server 9. Like, I've known so many people on server 9 for a long time, 18%, right? I've known a lot of these players for a long time, 18%. Come on down, you'll find some more OGs, even servers that I've played on. By the way, I've literally played on some of these servers. Like, I've played on 51, 10 and 23, 30%. Ponfar, 12 and 22, 35%. Like, these are servers I've played with and people that I've gotten to know. And there are others, obviously. There's some servers here that are gone, but you know, here's server 710. We hopefully can get back to being a 50%. I would like to see us on a win streak. And I know the top groups, we've been working really hard. You know, 3 of us are now in Masters League. So a lot of us have been trying to put forth a lot of effort to make some of this happen. Anyway, I get very easily rabbit trailed. I'm sure our poor GS31 is getting slapped silly with chasers. So even though they're weak chasers, they're getting slapped with chasers. So we should probably come in here and finish things up. Oh, I'm OPC as well. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, look, 70s. Y'all got to keep out for this. If you are, because I know we have people are asking about my habits and how I do OPC hunting. Don't forget the lower level transition systems, right? So often, high level players especially try to sneak their ships, you know, their G6 Selkies and things like that. They try to sneak them into the lower levels thinking most people aren't going to bother checking places like Beta Nara. No, check all the systems, because so often high levels will try to dump their Selkies and stuff down here because they don't want to be bothered, and you can catch some good OPC, right? And I'm sitting on how much right now? I've got 4 million rare, so I want to make sure I take that home. But another key is don't just look in the high level systems for high level players, especially when it comes to Transgen. You'll find them trying to hide out all down in these lower level systems because they can still mine really, really fast on these nodes, especially with things like the Selkie and the G6 miners, but they don't want to have to bother with resetting because they don't have big protected cargoes. So you can use that to your advantage and hit them for some goodies where sometimes most people wouldn't go looking in here. I do, but again, that's just because OPC hunting is one of my things. So, and I just got a hello from Max Arcton. Did we hit them? I think we did. Very likely. Well, let's see. Well, I don't see them. I don't think we hit them. Yeah, we didn't hit them. I guess they're just sending us a happy letter. Anyway, don't forget Anomalous Phenomenon. Great reminder for those who are watching right now. Anomalous Phenomenon, which you can do with any ship that can do an instant warp jump. Make sure you do your Anomalous Phenomenon. That can be very, very important, as some of you have not maxed out your disco. In fact, of the 200 something people we have here, I'd take a very powerful guess. Many of you have not finished doing your disco. How many have not finished doing their disco? If you're in the chat, not shaming you, but who has not finished maxing out their discovery? There's going to be several. You're very early for Sunday. This is normal time, Dustin. Normal time. Disco's been maxed for years. Yeah, I believe that there's people who have, but yeah. I do not, I won't subscribe to the fact that all the people here are. There are plenty of people who have not finished it. Yep, you just had one, had 2, 3, 4 who have said that they're not done. It just kind of goes to show so many different, time frames from where are people in their game. People are all over the place. Man, look at this level 70. He's in all these lower level systems. I just haven't caught him OPC. But that's the 3rd ship I found of his. Now, William says they've ignored the disco, not done yet. Gary says he's sitting at tier 9, but hasn't finished the leveling process, right? So it's not so uncommon. It goes back to what we talked about for the Vidar when the Talius was coming out. The big number was that only 6% of active accounts had the Vidar max. Same thing, right? You will always be shocked because I think everybody expects people to be at the same level they're at, no matter what that level is. Everybody's always shocked to learn where everybody else is at in their gameplay. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Sometimes that shock is, wow, I'm way behind. I thought I was strong. Sometimes that shock is, holy crap, how do people not have this thing? I thought it was super easy. That's always how this game tends to go, especially as it gets more and more expansive. And you're going to see that here with the new Maverick faction, right? People are going to start diving into the Maverick faction. I'm not saying they shouldn't. Time-wise, absolutely is going to make sense because of some of the things that are going to be available in that faction. But that time is all limited, right? There's only so much time all of you can play during a day. So let's just say that you've been listening to me rant and rave about ISO and Wrath of Khan, right? And you decided, fine, I'm going to start doing Wrath of Khan because Rev won't stop telling me this is part of why I'm struggling. And let's say you've been doing that for the past month, but you're still not done. And then a new faction comes out and you're like, well, dang it, I got to go invest time in this faction, so you take it away from Augment. And what ends up happening is 2 years down the road, you never came back and finished the Augment. And when people are like, hey, how do you not have the Glavin max? How do you not have Wrath of Khan Joaquin max? You're like, well, I never got around to finishing Augment, right? So it's easy for these type of things to happen given how this game is. So given how this game is, it's easy for that to happen where, you forget something, you fall behind, or you just say, hey, this isn't as important. I'm going to put this on the shelf for now. So all these are things that you have to think about when especially when you're giving advice to players. And have you given any thoughts on the new faction? I was going to do that tomorrow/Tuesday. So they're doing an art basically rehashing and revamping the board to an extent. We're going to be based on First Contact, which they've talked about, all year, that, the IPs that they were going to be exploring. Just like we'll get some Academy stuff, and we'll explore Strange New Worlds again this year. Lore-wise, I am, and to a degree, I'm looking forward to the faction. But overall, I have several negatives and several positives about it. So, like, I have negative thoughts about some of the setup in terms of even something simple that is a good thing. We talked about this yesterday on Twitch. The new faction has speed ups for, not actual speed ups, like speeding up loops. It has rewards similar to how like the Challenge Refinery does, right? Where you can get rewards from that help you speed up previous ships. And I think that's great as an element, but it's, as we talked about it yesterday, it's a mental load to try to keep up with where is everything and how do I do this thing? Where do I find all this? So you have some good things that are coming in this faction, and I don't want to change that they're good. They are good, but it's one of those where you're having to now track all these different things to get, say, your Reliant maxed out. Well, now I've got to remember that there's something over there, there's something over there, there's something in there, all in different locations. And the Maverick faction is compounding on that problem. Doesn't mean I don't think there's good things in it. There are, but overall, and then when it comes to the actual loop itself, as people get into participating, again, we'll let it roll out. I don't want to sit here and just be a negative Nancy. There's good stuff in here, but we'll see how the task set runs. So, and when I mean how the task set runs, how much participation is actually in that, because you've already got the dailies, you've got the daily challenge in the Challenge Refinery tied to that. This is building kind of like a mini version of Alliance tournaments for a task run that's part of the actual Maverick reputation. So you're going to run through these tasks to try to push forth and get different things done so that you can progress through your rep. But how many of these tasks are going to get done? How effective are the Alliance tasks? And you've got the new Armadas that are going to be part of the loop. It's a lot, as it tends to be in STFC. It is a lot of stuff, but it also has a lot of good in it, right? For example, right, you have the new artifacts that are in here. You have aggregation research stuff. You have the Transgen Forge building pieces. You have Recon Locust building pieces. You have the ability to speed up the Dauntless progress. Like, these are, in a vacuum, good items and good things, but it's just the fact that everything is everywhere constantly. And that's, I think, gonna be a problem, as well as we'll see what people think about the actual new Armadas and everything and how they operate. So we'll let that roll out first, but it's both good and bad, is my thoughts. It's both good and bad. There are absolutely elements I think that are fantastic and I'm glad are getting put in, but then there's also this problem where this horizontal movement, I do think, has positive elements, but it's causing the players to get fatigued about so many elements of the game. And I think that's a completely fair critique of what they've been doing. It is possible to both put out good things that bring fatigue and problems to the game. And I know that sounds silly, but the fact that you do have to track every one of these refineries, and you do need to track, I brought this up yesterday when it comes to these various refineries, all these things that we have in here that are great for, future sourcing, things like that. Like you have blueprints here, but I brought up a lot of players are using this right now if they can afford it, right? But how many who don't have an Excelsior are working on this? And in that same vein, how many people are remembering, oh yeah, I can do Reliant stuff here, GS31 stuff here, Serene Squall, because you've also got to go to completely different areas of the game for the same stuff, right? Like I have to come over to the Transgen Refinery, work on getting another Serene Squall, work on those upgrades. Then I have a whole research area in starships for Serene Squall. Like just everything being all over the place can be a problem. But I still like the general additions of certain features. It's just that I know, having worked and continually working with so many of y'all every day, and I'm very grateful that y'all message me and take the time to talk to me. But yeah, anyway, Valhalla asks, is this a Tiger arc? This is not a Tiger arc. Tiger actually just had an arc in December. November and December was D and Tiger. So he's not on this set. And as a reminder, if y'all need it, there is my Discord link. Everybody here is welcome to join, and in fact, encouraged to join so that you can get more one-on-one help with whatever aspect of STFC and other games you're playing. So don't forget the transient ship upgrade efficiency exos. Yeah, actually a great point, Braindig. You know, I always forget. I have yet to ever remember to use these. And maybe I'm, you know, crying over something that's my own spilt milk. How many people remember to use these? I don't. I never think about it. I absolutely never think about it. And these are good. Like, I'm not saying these are not bad. I never think about using this tab. And I'm sure there are people who do. But the truth of it is most people do not. Most people forget, which is fine. I actually need to add this one to the bulk refine because I've been sleeping on this thing way too daggum long. I just need to get these things done. I need to quit being lazy and get those done. Just speed those things up. But anyway. Brand says they don't want to use the epic on it. Yeah, and look, I've managed to finish a lot of my epic stuff. I need to get more mining on my Serene Squall today, but yeah, anyway, those are good things. But it's also not surprising that so many people forget that they exist and forget to utilize them. So my argument is that the UI needs a massive overhaul, UI being user interface. And I think all those different good things need to be put into the same location. Like, if we have things that are part of the GS31, it should be part of the GS31 loop in that area so we can see it and we can work through it. The game has gotten less intuitive as it is aged. And I think that's a problem that they need to work on. And again, I was talking to one of the game design team this morning. We were texting. And, you know, I'll paraphrase one of the things that they said is that there's a lot that needs to be done and a long path that needs to be taken to get needed changes in STFC. Again, not getting very specific about what we were talking about, but the general thought is that they agree, as like design gets a lot of what y'all are saying, that major changes need to happen because they too want the game to continue to be successful and to last. So, do you need a reminder to finish your specialships? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Look, there are pros and cons to playing Rev's style, right? Remember, Rev's style is very laid back. It's ignore FOMO, have fun. I do only the things I want to do. I do, you know, focus on certain progressions. And I play a slight bit slower than a lot of my other content creator peers on these accounts. But that also means that I don't struggle. So, you know, I can understand it if people are like really trying to like throw into their Reliant really quickly. If they're struggling with Augment, I just don't struggle with Augment. So I don't have to do that. So that's part of it. You know, part of my slowdown is just the fact that I don't need to move any faster because I'm able to handle everything I'm handling. See, I come into my Augment, all my boxes get pulled. Again, how does this happen? OPC hunting, right? I think one major issue with a lot of Augment players is they say, hey, look, it's just a lot of work to get the common, the uncommon, the rare, the epic, etc. And I agree with that statement. So that's why I OPC hunt it. Because it does take a long time to just sit there and hunt it if you don't have a Reliant that can just auto grind it all. It does take time. So I let everybody else do it for me. That's how I get my pulls in. So yeah. Anyway, I do want to stress, I believe those are very good things. I praise those additions when they came in. I have not changed my mind. I have not brought back the praise and said that's wrong. No, it deserves to be praised, but that doesn't mean that it isn't easy to forget because of all the things going on. And the Maverick will simply add to that. So short term, I definitely think it's good. Long term, I hope more and more things get cleaned up is all I'm saying. Star Dragon says they're using it, but the only one I'm focusing on is the NX01. I plan to get the blueprints in there before we get to 40. It will take a while, but oh well. I love that. That's fantastic. You can see you're talking about utilizing that for the future. And I never do that. Like thinking about it, I never do that on the baby account. Like the level 39 account. I just like, nope. Because what little epic I do end up getting on there is all going to be based on how much I have the Serene Squall, and I've got to focus on its stuff first. But I love that you are, you found that balance and you're working it out for yourself. I think that's fantastic. Also, good evening, Viper. Welcome in, my friend. How are you doing? How are you doing? I saw you literally just shot me a message on Discord. A claim all option that allows check marks on the specific refines. Yeah, I actually I said that yesterday. You know, that also is something I'd like to have, is when I go into my refinery, a claim all for all the refineries instead of having to go to each individual one. But before that got introduced, what I would like to have, not again, Flex, if I'm putting my order of importance, what I would like to have before that is bulk factions. Before having bulk refine, I'd rather have bulk factions. Give me bulk factions, because this, again, with another faction coming out, one of the reasons they switched to a vertical alignment, and yeah, before anybody says anything, I'm not being crazy. This did not used to be horizontal. I mean, sorry, it used to be vertical. It used to be horizontal. Who remembers when all the things were horizontal and we had to scroll on the tab at the very bottom? Anybody remember all that? Yeah, they made it into stuff like this so it's easier visually to do it vertically, right? Well, they're almost filled up this now. I gotta remember when this all started, we just had these way up here. This is it. And you just had a little scroll menu at the bottom. You just clicked it. Federation, Klingon, Romulan. Now we have all these factions with another one coming. Just the UI needs a cleanup is all I'm saying. I've been giving game design a lot of praise for the designs themselves, but there's a lot of added weight getting thrown in as well. Adam Price says they use the transit efficiency refinery for the NSCA. It's taken too long to upgrade. Yeah, and the NSCA is one of those special ships that has 600 days plus to get it maxed out. That's a long time. Almost 2 years. That's a little crazy. That's a little crazy. I just got a love letter. I just got a love letter. Was that really necessary, Rev? My ship is so tiny and I need that rare. Same. I don't even know how much they had. How much did the God King Odysseus have? But they're using the Serene Squall and they had 500,000. Yeah, it's not like I hit you for 500. That's $500,000. Thank you for your contribution. Now go put it out there because it's cheap as dirt to repair. Also, why are you mining rare with the freaking Serene Squall? Yeah. Looking forward to the Dauntless efficiency for the new faction. Already using the Vengeance one. Very nice, Brandig. Very nice. Only 30 more Bakchor shards so I can build your first one. Awesome. Look, I may not be a big fan of mining in this game, but I do also ascribe to the importance of having some of the faction miners and how much they can help progress you. So, gosh, somebody must have hit the OPC because I've not found any up here. We might have to actually send a regular ship and do some regular grinding. Is it going to be grindable rep? Well, you're going to be doing grinding via the task sheet. Remember the tasks that you just looked up? The special tasks that are tied to Maverick? That's going to be part of your progression. So you could call that grindable. Were you supposed to use to mine the rare, if not the Squall? Literally every other faction ship. Because the Serene Squall can't mine anything besides Epic at a decent pace, and you have to invest heavily into the research to make it grind, to mine the rares and stuff at any decent value. Now, if you're a low level player, let's say you're in the 30s, then yeah, maybe the Serene Squall is slightly better, dependent. But you have to come in here on the Serene Squall and you've got to do all these different mining upgrades to make it semi-usable as a miner for non-epic. Choose your regular ships. Choose your regular ships. Yeah, I mean, I only mine epic with my Serene Squall, and then, now granted, this is a G6 account, but Selkies then go and do all the others. Oh, look at that. Look at that. See? See? The game provides. Look at that OPC. That's 1 million uncommon, 200,000 rare, 5 mil common. That's just juicy. Give it to me. Frick says, not that hard. Just buy the dang ship when it comes out. This is my hobby. $100 a month is nothing for a hobby. And look, I respect that you feel that way, Frick. But, you know, most people don't. Most people don't. But I think it's great that there are people like yourself who are willing to support the game, because that makes it free to play for everybody else. Without people who buy the ships, it's not free to play. It can't exist. So big shout out to you for contributing to that, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. From a fellow OPC hunter, get them. I'm just saying. You need to pay attention to your cargo, not pay attention to, oh my goodness, Rev hit me. Well, if you weren't OPC, you wouldn't have got hit. So I think, end of the day, there's one person to blame here. Oh, y'all have identical cargo, basically. Like identical cargos. Bodie McBoatface, still one of the best names on this server. Bodie McBoatface. What a name. What a name. It's got the Mantis and Incursions. Can I only use the Mantis to kill the Actians? That is basically the Mantis's only purpose, Free Spirit. You can also use it in PvP. But essentially, its only purpose is to do that Actian loop. Yes. Go over there. Go over here. And we'll go grab something else real quick. Hold on. If someone wants to make a second account on a different server, can that person use the same email, or do you need a new one? You'll need a new one because you'll need a different email to make another Scopely ID. If you try to finagle it and tie them both to a single email, that's just going to end up meaning one of those is going to get lost. So now it's not a hard process. You know, just go make like a Gmail account, make you another Scopely ID, and then, you know, sign up, you know, join the game again. And I did make a video with the help of NetNiv of showing how to make a separate account on your PC so that you can run two of them at the same time, which is what I'm doing actually. So right now I've got two different accounts pulled up. This is the server 20 account here in the back. I'm sorry, the server 710 account back here. And then this is server 20 right up here. And I'm playing both of them at the same time. And you could have 5 going, 6 going, whatever you fancied if you were really that addicted to Star Trek Fleet Command. I got a video out for that. But yeah, you will need to make new accounts and not run it individually. Yeah. Gary says on my baby account, I'm mining uncommon with my amalgam to get the uncommon to get my squall. Yeah, and I'm actually doing that as well, Gary. This my level 39 account mines with both my faction miner and my amalgam on things like uncommon. See, that's technically OPC, but it's a baby OPC. I'm gonna let that get a little bit more juice in it. That's not worth squeezing yet. That's not ripe. We got this is Jarl Urban Animal. Great name. They need to get fattened up a little bit. That pig's too skinny. You know, there's not a lot of bacon on that pig. Your tax refund money goes to the first of the month bills. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely pay your bills first is what I would say. Before you buy a $100 ship, pay your bills first. Pay your bills first. Speaking of bills, if you're out there, we will be doing a Battle Pass giveaway this Tuesday on Twitch. So if y'all want to win $20 of Revdeuce's money, we're giving away Battle Cash because that's how we do our Battle Pass giveaways now. If you would like to win, don't forget we'll be streaming on Twitch this upcoming Tuesday. So if y'all want to potentially win some of Revdeuce's money just so you can buy stuff in game, head over to Twitch. And if you are out there saying, hey, I'd like to sponsor some giveaways, you want to sponsor Battle Passes, if you want to sponsor $100 packs, whatever, reach out to me and we can set that up as well. Or you can go to my website, revdeuce.com, and sign up to support us monthly. We have a tier specifically for doing things like pack giveaways if y'all like to contribute back to the community that's giving you so much fun. So, whatever it is that you're doing out there, either attend the stream or donate to the stream. That way we can donate to more people because it's a lot of fun. One thing as a content creator that I really enjoy is the give back process because y'all have been so kind to me and mine. I want to be kind to you and yours. So we're going to be doing that. We'll give away 5 of those on Tuesday. Maybe we'll give some more this upcoming Friday as well. Just to, you know, continue to spice it up. How about I have a little bit of fun? Don't personally plan on giving away any of the new packs for the Armadas, but you know what? Maybe even that if we have people who want to help sponsor. Opog says they will be there because they want to win. Heck yeah, that's awesome. See, I need the uncommon, but getting to where this is not juicy enough for me. I'm gonna beam him just for the heck of it. Just for the heck of it. We're gonna get a little beam action. Bam. All right, so that's where we end up with. Solid. Wish we would have got a little bit epic in there, but again, solid little run of OPC to keep the refineries turning. But I did not get some of the main pieces that I want, so we will need to go grind some epic. Is that a throwback Red Wings jersey? It is. This is a throwback Red Wings jersey. This is Pavel Datsyuk. So this is from their 2014 Winter Classic. which it does have the same styling of the Centennial jersey, which came out this year. Same styling, but this is the Pavel Datsyuk 2014 Winter Classic jersey. And for those that didn't know, Rev's very into sports. I actually covered the NFL professionally. I was trained as an NFL scout. I actually got to work with a couple of teams. That was really cool. Worked with The Athletic and Bleacher Report. And that passion for sports still exists, even if I don't work in there. So I'm very big on hockey, in particular minor league hockey and American football. Now, I still enjoy other things. And for you British people out there, particularly you Welsh people, I do follow Wrexham. Yeah, because they're basically the real life Ted Lasso. If y'all like Ted Lasso and haven't followed what's going on with Wrexham, it's basically the same thing. But anyway, I like sports. Really enjoyed the Olympics this year with hockey. Obviously, I'm biased because my country won, but really enjoyed the Winter Olympics. All right, let me get here. We're going to do some crew changing around. 1 second. I got to figure out which crew I want to use. I'll just do this for now. We'll swap this just a little bit. Oh, heck, I can honestly just run this. I mean, this won't do anything for me, but... Trying to debate. Yeah, I just run this. Because I don't feel like moving things below decks around. That's wondering, what am I debating? I don't feel like moving anything around. I don't feel like moving stuff around. The only thing I would maybe change is throw on crit down there, but I don't feel like moving things around. So I'll send the cube out there, do a little bit of grinding on these, because we need to pick up some epic. And since today is Anomalous Phenomenon Day, remember to use your jumps. A video you did with NetNev on how to create a second account. Is there a transcript or a written idiot's guide on how to set it up? Trying to follow the video was challenging for my limited intel. I mean, I put a write-up in the video, Admiral Pegasus. I think it's like 3 or 4 minutes in. I have a step-by-step write-up on the screen of the steps you need to take. If you're not mind with the Voyager, you're doing it wrong. I mean, the Voyager can low-key be a decent mining ship. See, I want to hit this, but I also don't. Like, if I hit this, bad things are going to happen because I don't have the right crew for hitting those. But I'm going to hit it anyway because I can't help myself. And I actually beat it. Well, I'll be dipped. I am color me surprised. I'll be dipped. All right. We managed to get that. That's surprising. Let's see what our love letter is. All right, let me check. Cool. All that's good. It's not bad as better warp. Yeah, I mean, the Voyager is a big use for me as a lower level. Now, I mean, I use my Voyager for a lot of things. So, absolutely agree. Voyager has a lot of value. I'm a big fan of the Voyager as a low-level player, as a G3 player. It does have some limitations, but it is aged very gracefully because of the warp range. It sadly does not maintain the power you want to have in G3, like you wish it was stronger. But for getting a lot of tasks done, it's very, very useful. In fact, I use my Voyager in G3 to do my Herogen Alliance tournament task. That's a big one for me. And that's part of how we got into Masters League. So, and that's a real big one for me as well. All right. This will probably be my last one. How much did we grab? 4,000. See, not enough. I punched up to this one. I should have switched to a proper crew because I could do a lot better against these 68s than I just did. But that's because I was too lazy to do a proper crew and I only got a few in. That's why we need to swap things around and actually really crew, because this is what happens. Use Disco with Section 1 skin on NPCs, about 5 minutes. You rarely use the Spore Drive. Yeah, I don't use it very often either. I am more likely, depending on the account, to use something like... no, we actually didn't need Janeway there. But we do need Anorax. So this is a classic version of this. Come on. There we go. And then there's the dock. So this is like my classic run. And then below decks, I'll go grab Vielle because she's giving me ISO. I can sacrifice a very weak Savick Make sure I'm keeping my crits up, and that will help me perform much better. Much better. Actually, let's go grab, there he is. Look at old Hugh. Look at old Hugh. Bring Hugh in. There we go. Finally maxed the Reliant, but don't really need to use it anymore. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of one of the, I guess you could call it an irony of the Reliant, because it's so slow to upgrade. By the time most people get it maxed, they don't need it anymore. In fact, I kind of have that. Like, I don't need the Reliant. In a lot of ways, I'm done. There are still things I can do, don't get me wrong. A lot of ways, I'm done with my Reliant. Yet it's only tier 8 going to tier 9. But do I need to really invest in it? I don't. I will, because I like the Reliant. I mean, y'all know, Wrath of Khan, I believe, is the best Star Trek movie ever made. But I don't need the Reliant. So. Not worth maxing Hugh for the extra percent boost. Are you talking about Picard Hugh? Is that who you're referring to, Sinbob? Should I start refining the common G formats now, or should I wait until I get into G4? Star Dragon, I would say go ahead and do it now if you've got it laying around. That's going to help give you the commons you need, which saves you Latinum. Yeah, Hugh is maxed here, but level 20. Borg Q or pick Q? And honestly, it's probably just because I haven't gotten around to it yet. What I tend to do, and this is my playstyle, is I generally save all officer level updates for domination runs, and I just do it during domination. So, here, I'll pull up the officers menu. I guess that'd be upgradable, because I know I have Pick Q laying around. Where's he at? Where's he at? He should show up here. Oh, there he is. It's like I have Pick Q ready to be upgraded, but I lack 30,000 epic export currency, so I've got to get the epic currency. And then as far as group, I don't remember. Yeah, I haven't leveled him up. Simple as that. I just have not thought to level him up. Now, his ability is already as high as it can be. I just haven't thought to level him up, which would give me more officer stats. Everyone always needs more officer shards. I mean, yeah, everybody does. Absolutely. That is a correct statement. Ultimate max to get it into the IA eventually. You're also right there, Brandon. You know, as we want to get more and more into the archive, see, I actually still need to do that with the Mantis. Thank you for saying that. Because again, remembering things that Rev forgets. Rev has forgotten to finish maxing out his Mantis. So Rev is the weirdo who in 2026 doesn't have a maxed out Mantis. I literally am one part away, and I keep forgetting. I need 900,000 currency, and I literally just keep forgetting to do it. I just keep forgetting. So let's get our Mantis out real quick and go sting somebody. Is there anybody sitting here I can sting? Yep, there's a 72 for some reason. He's discoing things. We're going to sting him. Bam. Let's get those tasks done. You don't even have a Mantis? Well, pick them up from an event store. That's generally the quickest way, is to pick them up from an event store. You just had the Incursion store. Don't know, I don't remember where your account's at, but Incursion store might be, or should still be available to you, likely is. And you can go grab some in there if you have any Incursions currency laying around. Use my Cosmic Cleanup for Defiant. Oh, great reminder. I need to do that over on my other account. Thank you. If I even remember to finish Cosmic Cleanup yesterday. I don't remember. Remember, I had a lot of yard work. We're trying to clean up after this big winter storm, and, you know, we're moving on from there. You got shocked a few days ago. I placed an NX01 on a G7 gas node. Spent 24 hours nonstop mining. No one killed you. Well, count your blessings, because I would have. If I'm in your veil, I would have. Officer badges so hard to get. I have 15 officers that I can't max because I need so many badges. This is also another reason why I encourage people to stick with and keep doing Anomalous Phenomenon every Sunday, right? As part of why I'm doing my Anomalous Phenomenon now, so I can get more of what I need. And let me tell you what I need: command badges. I need more command badges. Give me more command badges. So I make sure to do my Anomalous Phenomenon every Sunday, because that translates to more command badges. All right, there's my use Mantis player to debuff. Yeah, so did that one. Where's the other Actian? There's two Actians, right? Am I going crazy, or there's two Actians? Am I going crazy or there's 2 Actians? I thought there was 2 Actians. I must be going crazy. Oh, there it is. There is 2 Actians. Bam. All right. I knew there was 2 of them. Cool. No, I mean, yeah, the drip of the Discovery badge. Yeah, exactly. That's why I do it every single Sunday. So that when I need command badges, because I'm getting my minor commendations, I come into a faction and I go, well, bam, give me a command badge. And look how much I've got at the top. Again, that's just me being consistent. Since I do the event, I do my stuff, I get my turn-ins, bam, give me more command badges. Because I need command badges. So I make sure to do it. Make sure to do it so I can get these command badges, because for whatever reason, this game has decided that we're going to make more command officers than any other type, and we're going to make the command officers the best officers, which there is a little bit of logic to that trade. But yeah, I mean, stick with it. Alliance Tournament is also a good source for badges. Agreed. But if you're balancing things like, you know, because y'all know how I do it. I try to always balance what's something that I can do. It's the easiest path to do something free to play, right? Free to play gives me a lot of different things in Alliance tournaments that maybe I want to make sure I'm getting those first before I switch to badges, right? Like the ship skins and the primes and all those. And if you've gotten all those, then yeah, the command badges jump in priority. But this is a way that you can be getting command badges every week. Sundays and Thursdays are days that you work on sourcing command badges. Thursdays for Apex, Sundays for Disco. And if people are consistently doing it, if they do it every week, these things add up. Each individual week is not that much. Like if you just do Anomalous Phenomenon here and there, it's not going to be enough to really offset your need for officer badges. But if you're doing it every week and you do Apex every week and you do get around to Alliance tournaments on things, you're going to catch up on the badges. The key is consistency, which is definitely a pain. The key is consistency. But the reason I have, you know, think of the Anomalous Phenomenon on Sundays as far as badge sourcing goes, like a good tertiary sourcing. Like if you were only relying on minor commendations, it would be a horrible way to source badges. But because you have other options, and again, we get back to that point we were complaining about earlier where things are all over the place. Cool. Definitely still agree with that. But, right, because you have this as an option and it adds into all the other ones, then you start getting decent sourcing. Again, I definitely agree things being all over the place is very, very annoying. 100% agree with that. But if you are just one of those players and you're trying to make things happen, make things better, enjoy the game more, well, keep getting those minor commendations. Keep pushing for stuff like that, right? And then I really cannot wait for the day the disco gets added in here. For those who have missed it, you should have already seen what I guess you could, it's the best way to classify this would be kind of a hint, right? We should all know what the next ship is in the Independent Archives. It is sadly not the disco. I do want the disco to get added in eventually. But if you go into your avatars, it's going to be probably the best way to look at this for the foreseeable future, is just always pay attention to new things coming out. If y'all have not seen this, Golden NX-01 avatar earned by mastering the NX-01 in the Independent Archives. So we've already got another ship avatar appearing for here. And obviously, every time you max out or master one, you get a golden ship. Like here's the Fuchsia, the Voyager, Talios, Vidar, Monavine, etc. As you go through these, you get these unlocks and these avatars to celebrate you mastering. So the one that we see in here now is the NX-01, making it safe to assume probably within the next arc, March, etc., you're going to get one. So the good news is there's an addition. The bad news is it's not the it's not the disco. It's the NX-01, which I'll admit is a really good one to have added in and probably has more general value than the disco does by itself. But more's more. I want more. All right, let's get all these pulls in. All right. Did we figure out yet if with Max Meridian we get paid what the otherwise would? I know CC noted there may be a loss. There is a slight loss depending on what exactly you're referring to. Rev is never allowed to master the Enterprise Bally Bomb. I don't know, man. If they put it in there, But I'll tell you this, Bally Bomb, your Enterprise is taking its sweet heckin' time. For those that don't know, Bally Bomb was very kind. He purchased us the skin for the Excelsior. So this is the Enterprise B skin. But my Lanta, does this thing take forever to upgrade. It takes so long to max out. So you're looking at a tier 4 Excelsior. That thing's going to take a minute. She is a slow upgrade. Which, by the way, we need to go do those hostiles. So while we're sitting here chit-chatting, let's go get that done. Laromi, thank you for supporting the channel. Says, I want the Stella to be archived so you can get a free drip of badges. Again, another great one. Another great one. I would agree. Yeah, absolutely would agree. I want that done. Here, let's switch back to our normal V'ger run. Fly. There we go, because we don't run... Yeah, that's fine. Because we don't tend to run criticals on every day. Today is Sunday. Which is, yeah, today is not the day to run Janeway and Suitor. Yep. Whoops. Okie dokie. Well, let me get rid of that real quick. Group. Get you out of here. Any information on Dauntless part sourcing coming up? Yeah, literally the Maverick faction that comes out Tuesday has more sourcing for the parts. But that will mean that you have to participate in the new faction. Let's see. When you get rid of her, we're going to just go with a classic. We're going with a Rev is lazy to make a better crew, so he's going to do a good enough crew. I like a good enough crew. Look at that. That's good enough. Good enough for the girls we date, we tell you. Yeah, Razzie, as always, I would remind you to ignore FOMO, have fun, right? Things take a long time. Just take your time and enjoy. Enjoy at whatever pace you enjoy at. What about the 10K task in the NX01 Refinery if archive? That's a great question, Joe. Not one that we'll be able to answer until this process actually rolls out. And if that interferes with the 10K task, you might see many people choose to not fully max out their archive with the NX01. Very curious to see what that looks like. But I'll be honest, I don't know. I think it's a great question, though, Joe. I think it's a fantastic question. All right, so we got the Orion Interceptors. We're just going to fly through these real quick in my good enough crew. For anybody who's like, Rev, is that the OP meta crew? Is it perfect? No. It's just, it'll do the job. It'll do exactly what I want it to do. Perfectly fine. But I don't want anybody to be like, oh, Rev said this is the meta. I'm not saying it's the meta. I'm just saying it works perfectly fine. There we go. Keep in mind, a lot of this has more to do with all the research that Rev didn't skip and stuff. You know, all the different things. It's not like the greatest crew in the world, but it's a very good below decks crew that's with it. It's got a lot of research and favors. It's stout, is what I'm saying. It's stout. Any plans to add mycelium back in the event stores? Mycelium pops up in event stores here and there. But in terms of consistently, no, not that I'm aware of. But it does pop up here and there to get used. Epicard is better. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else we got. If players could make real shields of the Enterprise NX01, that would make the Enterprise be more than a one-trick pony. You 100% do the Zinni swarms by hunting. I mean, you can use the NX01 to hunt other things. It does have a lot of hull health, but you're right. Shields aren't really a thing with it. So let's get this done. I just need to get 10. There we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Here's my challenge track I've been ignoring. Get some more of those Uhura shards, which, by the way, I do need to walk back what I said. Well, technically, I still have a couple weeks, but it does look like it's going to be a free unlock for complete Uhura here, assuming no changes. Assuming no changes. So, I said previously that I wouldn't count that as sourcing until I saw it actually completely do that, and they are, so. NX01 is great for reaching high continuum armadas for someone in your lines to carry. Absolutely. I mean, the NX01 is great for the warp range, and hopefully people are utilizing. but it does come up a little bit short in terms of combat because of its design. And I will at least say this about STFC. I appreciate the effort to try to give it some measure of authenticity to the canon. Because remember, that thing didn't have shield. Yeah. I'm 4 short of unlocking Black Ops Chapel. Where can I get them? Is Black Ops Chapel in the new... Because Mbanga is in the new faction. I'm trying to remember if Black Ops Chapel is also in the new faction. No, Black Ops Mbanga is in the new faction, but not Black Ops Chapel. Well, that's annoying. But as far as sourcing, as a reminder, we do have a spreadsheet that will tell you where every officer is sourced in the game. And we will be updating it for this upcoming patch on Tuesday. There you go. If you're looking for sourcing. Now, to answer the question, I'm going to put this on the screen so we can look at it together. Hold on 1 second. I got to adjust this. All right, so it'll be behind me right here. So we can just go Control F, Black Ops Chapel. And we can see that she has 2 sourcing paths. She has a Serene Squall Strongbox and the Challenge Track. Serene Squall Strongbox and Challenge Track. Now, obviously, Ops will matter. I've currently got this set to Ops 80. If you are not Ops 80, you need to make a copy. Remember, File, make a copy. And you would need to make a new copy every time this is updated. But you make a copy, and then you can actually put in your Ops level. So if you're 39, it'll only show you ways that you can do it as a 39. And yeah, Braindig, I see you noticed this one. This one hasn't happened yet, but it is listed as a future sourcing method. Because I don't think it's happened yet, but will happen, I believe. You do imagine a Starfleet would have added shields, the NX-01? Well, Starfleet wouldn't have kept the NX-01 operating for 400 years. I can tell you that. Maybe in a, maybe in like a season 4 disco way they would have done it because, yeah. But realistically, very unlikely. Very unlikely. All right. Vindicator warp range is phenomenal. Yeah, Vindicator's fine. We actually talked about Vindicator on stream last night. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Vindicator. It's just another one of those that it's easy to forget about. Like, it gets lost in the shuffle of all the different things. The Vindicator is pretty forgettable. It's not bad. I'm not saying don't go after it. Certainly not. I'm just saying that it has the problem of being forgettable. But you're all right. It can get some fantastic warp range. So you can use it similarly to how a lower level uses the NX-01. It's trying to travel places. But yeah, it's to a degree it's a bit forgettable. Good or bad, it is. Oh, so today is Surge Day too, isn't it? Just thought about that. Today is Surge Day. All right, we'll have some fun with that. I got to do more yard work today, but maybe later I can do some surges. Vindicator's an easy to get hazard protection. Yeah. Yeah. But also, again, just kind of like dogpiling on the fact that there's so many things. Because it's now easy to get the C12 stasis globe, that value isn't as big of a deal as it was before. Oh my gosh, I got to do more of these. And my client's starting to act up. We need to reboot. I'll tell you what I forget. I forget that these are in here. I completely forget these are here. Oh man, I completely forget these are in here. They're very expensive, but I forget about that. All right. That's something I'm going to have to consider at some point. Also, I think I'm done with this. I don't know if I need to keep pulling that. I have to go check my primes. I have finished out the main primes with that. So, when the XO1 received a massive refit, adding the star drive for the Romulan War, I actually have that skin. There's a skin for that in the game. If you've never seen that NX-01 skin, here, let me go grab it real quick. So there is a skin for that. There's 2 skins for the NX-01. Where is the... There it is. So you've got this skin right here. This is the default NX01 skin. So this is just the one from the show. You come into your refits. You've got the Columbia skin, which is the one that I'm rocking right now. So the Columbia was just the sister ship. NX01, Columbia was NX02. So there's the NX01. So it's literally nothing but a name change. Then you have this one. This is the envisioned refit of the NX01, giving it more of that traditional styling, which if you think about it in terms of size, this added a lot. This whole engineering section added a lot to this ship. So yeah, this is the NX01 refit that would have been applied and used during the Romulan War. Well, the first Romulan, UFP war. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Repair. Folks says research, they can just enter the system to disrupt. Well, you can't really disrupt, but because you can't PvP the people. And if you were in there and you technically helped destroy the 45s and the 50s faster, but the people who are going to score in the run are going to be the people in the alliance. So how do you get that skin? Which skin, Braindig? Which one? The Columbia skin can be obtained via alliance tournaments. The resistance is futile skin. It's actually a good question. How do you get that? Now that you ask, I'm trying to remember. How do you get this one? Because I do not believe we can click on here and see. How do you get this one? Oh, no, this is the one you get in the refinery. Yeah, this is just the default one you get via the refinery. So if you're just doing the refinery pulls, this skin you can start grinding for immediately in the refinery. And this also gives you these claims for Sigma Parstil, Sigma Trit, Sigma Dilithium. So yeah, so I'm glad this actually tells me. The NX02 Columbia skin you get from the Alliance Tournament store. And then this skin, which is the NX01 refit, you get this one via the NX01 Refinery. I forgot because it disappears after you unlock it. So I forgot that it was in the refinery. Yeah, it actually says right next to Picard U. Right here. And then you see mine has become the Picard Refit Award. And this is what I get every day. Because I've already got it. So that skin that we just looked at gives me this every day. So it might not seem like a lot, but getting 5,000 Sigma Parstil a day adds up, as does the Sigma Trit. And anyway, yeah, that's where you get it. And then once you get it, it turns into that, and the rewards are based on the tier of the NX01. Thank y'all. Man, see, it's just so much in the game. It's easy to forget. I forgot where that skin came from, but it's a good skin and absolutely worth picking up if you haven't already. Hence why I'm getting the blueprints from the Transgender Refinery before going to 40. Yeah, I see the logic. See the logic. So yeah, Alliance Tournament is for the NX01, for the NX02 Columbia skin. And then you'll get it, just get the regular refit via the actual refinery. Yeah. And then that is also why I have, so you come over here. That's why I have so many tokens. I have 454 Delphic Expanse tokens saved up. So, yeah, lots and lots of tokens. Ooh, we're also OPC over here. Anybody want to come hit me, OPC? I'm just a mining. It's going to take me out. Let's see if anybody else is OPC in here. Oh, look, 400,000. That's worth tickling. That's worth tickling. 400,000, I'll take that. The one-time sculptor removes something you already have. Hey, look, I appreciate it. You know what? Let's give them credit where it's due. They did it. Even if it was one time, it still happened. All right, it still happened. We must give them credit for it. It happened. Should it happen more? Yeah, the entire Alliance tournament store should work that way. But it did happen at least once. Oh, my Lanta. It's going to blow me up before I'm able to... Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we made it just in time. Come on, beam. Beam. There we go. There we go. Nice little OPC hit. Oh, 400,000 raw epic. Let's see if we can get out the system before it goes boom. Because there's a 20-second timer. Let's see if we can see anybody else OPC real quick. And nobody in there. It's going to blow up. It's going to blow up. You've stopped collecting those tokens? Don't need too many? Well, why stop? Because, again, that's where you're going to get, like, your Sigma stuff. If no other reason, you want to pull that every day just so that you can get free Sigma materials, free Sigma resources. You can't turn down free Sigma. I mean, maybe you can. Rev's not built like that. Rev don't turn down free Sigma now. I'll take any free Sigma that is available to me. If it's free, it's for me. That's how Rev Deuce lives his life. If you're out there and you've got something for free, I probably want it. I don't care what it is. I'll take it. If it's free, it's for this guy. Abso-heckin-lutely. Y'all let me know if y'all got any free things that I can have. I'll take it. When is Digit going to allow players to get more than one of the same tech, like 2 Fringy Whips? To my knowledge, never. I don't believe there's any plans for that. Need Alpha Trit? Wow. Very nice, Eddie. Very nice.
In a world where the sirens wail, the warp cores fail, and the chili burns hotter than a plasma storm.
Hold on, y'all. Why are my kids at the door?
The call! Ion Fista!
Oh, I did mute it. Sorry. Well, yeah, like I said, even if you don't need to, you should still be collecting that every time. Like, there's no reason to not collect a free chest. Just put it in your bulk refinery and collect it. There's no reason to not collect. Get it in. You can't read lips? Well, try harder. Maybe you put forth more effort. Maybe you put forth as much effort into watching my streams as you did buying packs, Bally Bomb. You'd be able to read my lips. So, Scoping is add a pulsing icon to OPC ships to make them easier to spot. Hey, I'll agree. I would actually just take being able to more easily scan somebody on a node. You know how annoying it is to have to go into the entire... The fact that I have to come and hit the scan button, that's the worst. Oh, wait. Is this... Oh, look. It's the Enterprise B, Valley Bomb, and the NCC 2000. Yeah, the Excelsior and the Enterprise just hanging out next to each other. Bunch of cuties. Is there a lip reading pack? Possibly. Possibly. Check out reviews.com to find it. Another go over for Sigma is the Monavine skin made available by the last level of Emerald Chain from tournaments. Correct. And I am finally, my alliance is almost back in the 20s. But yeah, that was way back here. Monavine Mark II refit. Got to max out your Emerald Chain. It's hilarious that my server 710 alliance, made of almost exclusively G3 and G4 players, has got a higher Emerald Chain than server 20 right now because we had to do the whole reset. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, I can't believe we just hit an hour and a half. I didn't realize the time had flown that way, but that means I got to go and get some work done. But I will be available throughout the day if y'all need to message me for anything. We'll make that very clear. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for spending some Sunday with me. Hopefully you have a fantastic rest of your day. And if there's anything I can do to help you out, please do let me know. Going to wrap up. I'll see you over there, which is everywhere else. Live long and plunder. Deuces. Hit me up.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.